Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. Today we are taking a look at the Penguin. This is the official trailer from Max. Let's check it out.
Let's go!
How it all started.
You gotta help me out.
Life is just a dream.
You promised me, Oswald.
I know now.
I deserve a better life.
I'm working on it.
Better life for Mom?
Oh,
They set up for the
driving a
honest man to
Maserati.
succeed.
Oh, sledgehammer?
That should be the American dream right there. You know, beautiful story with a happy ending. But that ain't the way the world works. America's a hustle. Not that I'm complaining.
Oh!
Penguin, you waltzing in here like you mean something. We're in the middle of a gang war.
Carmine Falcone's dead.
If we don't protect what's ours, we just look weak. The streets are talking again. They know there's only one man big enough to run this city.
Man, who's
You
his
remember Carmine's door.
assistant there?
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sophia, I thought you was still at,
Arkham?
Oh!
No. I've been rehabilitated.
Yeah.
Right.
Arkham is like the worst asylum in the
In a
U.S.
dangerous game with his family on it. You think I want
Oh.
Sophia Falcone knocking on my door?
She is the hangman.
Hank.
What is it you really have to?
Hey!
Gonna tear down the empire from the inside out.
whoever controls the drug business, controls the streets.
I'll be running the whole damn trade.
I got ambition. I can help you.
Man, who is that with Penguin
Feel alive,
helping
Vic,
him out?
huh? Feel your heart beating?
The city's meant to be yours, sweetheart. What are you gonna do to get it?
Oh!
Whatever I have to.
Trust me. It's just the beginning.
Oh, look at that shot. Dude. Wow.
Looks just awesome. It's like if you crossed DC with Tony Soprano.
Wow. All right. Well, of course, we are running that back.
Hi, I'm Colin Farrell. Check out the trailer for my new series.
I always love hearing
Penguin.
Colin and
Trust
his
me.
natural.
It's just the beginning.
Everything else is always like different.
Come on.
You gotta help me out.
Life is just a dream.
You promised me, Oswald.
I know now.
I deserve a better life.
I'm working on it.
I know, Ma. So,
I know.
damn, that's
I'm
interesting.
it.
And they're also showing this immediately right after. Well, not immediately right after, but
Oh.
obviously after Carmine's death. So that's going to be intriguing.
Can we just take a minute to talk about the prosthetic work that they did and how incredibly advanced it is? Because when you look at that, there's not any semblance of Colin Farrell that you see in that character whatsoever. But when you look at it, if somebody didn't tell you that that was a prosthetic, you would just think like that's the actor. Okay, maybe they did a little work with the lip or found somebody who had a similar scar. But the fact that that's practical effects is mind-numbing.
The world ain't set up for the honest man to succeed. That should be the American dream right there. You know, beautiful story with a happy ending. But that ain't the way it works.
Ooh, well,
So-
probably shouldn't show that on. There we go.
Following suit of the Batman, a little more darker, a little more gonna show a little more violence.
I was just gonna.
darker.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like I appreciate the darkness that we're gonna go through with Penguin, thanks to Matt Reeves and crew here.
The way the world works. America's a hustle.
Body
I mean,
bags.
even if we look at just the way everything is shot, everything feels very dark. There's warm tones,
Gritty.
but it feels kind of dingy and dusty
like
and
the
stuff.
Batman.
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe to it.
definitely.
Let's just
kept that
hope it's
tone.
not so dark that we can't see what's going on.
That's
So,
always
we shall
right.
see.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to set the tone with the Batman, and this is just going to enhance it leading into the sequel. Oh,
Yeah.
Not that I'm
Back to your
complaining.
point, Dave. Look at. I mean, just
It's, the two scars. You got well, I think it's just one continuous scar then, huh? That goes across his cheek into his mouth.
Yeah.
Or
complaining.
lip.
oh, jeez.
Penguin. You waltzing in here like you mean something.
Purple and gold Maserati.
Yeah,
look
I
at
see
the
what you're
gold
saying. That
matching
scar.
his suit.
Yeah. So it goes across his cheek, and I think all the way through to his.
Damn, what a damn good job by the team, Colin, everyone to bring this to life
I
like
wonder if they'll
this.
do a little backstory on that scar. I mean, they always teased it in
I hope so.
Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
I would guess we'd get
Scars.
something on it.
We're in the middle of a gang war.
Carmine Falcone's dead.
If we don't protect what?
Did they get with Ah,
Okay.
look at that.
So
2022.
we got the dates. Yep.
Protect what's ours. We just look weak. The streets are talking again.
And that, I believe, was the spot
Yeah,
that happened.
That's the iceberg club.
Looks like it's a
You know, there's
little
only
run
one
down.
man big enough to run this city.
I like how he even walks like a penguin.
Ah, do you remember Carmine's daughter?
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sophia, I thought you was still at
How I Met Your
Arkham.
Mother.
No. I've been rehabilitated.
Like I said, Arkham is just terrible.
I've been rehabilitated.
They don't do anything.
The way he looks down and looks back up, he's not very convinced.
Yeah, now, full disclosure, I do not know anything about this character. So, any
No,
of you comic
same.
folks, let us know. Or if she's not in the comic, because sometimes that happens.
Like to do that.
Yeah,
She's not in there. Let
the
us know,
only
too.
the only stuff that I can kind of reference is from the TV show Gotham. I did see that all the way through, but I know that they like to tweak and kind of turn the stories around a little bit depending on which comic you're reading. So I think Falcone's daughter was featured in that, but it's been a minute.
Yeah.
You're playing a dangerous game with his family arms.
Oh.
Sophia Falcone knocking on my door.
She is the hangman.
Go back to the newspapers.
clippings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Story
Hangman
behind
arrests Sophia Falcone, exposes Hangman killer.
Hangman. Fire downtown industrial plant. So a lot of industrial plant stuff here because the firefighters
Yeah.
respond to.
Well, I think
And in
Wasn't that
each
a-
one of those,
wasn't that like an industrial plant where the iceberg was kind of by?
I don't remember. It's been different in all.
Well, I'm just saying, even from the Batman, because wasn't it like an
Can you zoom in
industrial
on that?
district
I
type
can't.
situation?
Folks, if there is something to zoom on, let me know in the comments for controls. Even if we did zoom, I don't think we're going to be able to read.
I'm
Yeah,
wondering
it's-
if the Hangman, if she would like obviously had something to do with
Experts
the
warn
blaze.
Gotham City's infrastructure failing. Infrastructure is failing. That's on the bottom left-hand side there. Well, what was that? Heat wave to
wave
hit
is-
Gotham
so
this week.
Oh, string. Oh, wow.
that.
So
Wow,
that's
yeah.
the.
So that's who she's taking out.
And I think that one in the middle on the right, they showed her. I want to say that they
Right
showed
here?
her on the. Yeah, I think they showed her in this trailer when we watched it through.
We'll see.
Cool. So maybe just some quick backstory
Uh huh.
with Sophia here.
Hangman.
Now, what is this?
What are those?
Is that mushrooms?
Yeah, looks like they're growing mushrooms.
Oh, growing mushrooms.
Yeah,
some
so
kind of fungi?
drugs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, growing mushrooms out of
out of the bags.
the bags. Yeah, some sort of advanced hydroponics or whatever you call it.
You really have.
There he is.
Now let's just hope he's a police officer in this one, right? I mean, that's what we all want, or a detective.
Well, he could be a professor at a university.
Gonna tear down the empire from the inside out.
Empire from the
Controls
inside
the drug
out.
business.
When he's walking that subway, that's where you really get a good
It's
view
all
of it.
destroyed.
Well,
Speaking
of
of
it-
Clancy,
of
how
his-
about the red ice?
Red ice,
Same
yeah.
thing from Detroit.
Yep.
The old red ice.
Good call.
But I was saying when he was walking in the subway, how he even has like
Go
that
back to the
walk like
subway
a
scene for a
penguin.
second.
Oh,
there,
it's
'cause it
totally
looked like-
destroyed.
looked like the subway.
Look at that, and like there's
Look at that
pumps
thing.
over there,
Yeah, the
something
pump.
pumping whatever.
Something's coming out right
Oh,
there.
it's just like raw
Sludge.
sewage.
Yeah,
They're
it's
using
weird
the-
they'd be.
So I wonder if
pumping
they're
it.
still getting water out from,
from when they flooded.
Yeah, the
yeah,
flooding.
from the flood.
Yep.
So this could be early on in like episode 1 or 2, just kind of showing the aftermath.
But yeah, just watching Colin's walk here is amazing. Where he's like,
Whoever controls the drug business controls the
big.
streets.
yep, like
I'll
a
be running the whole
penguin.
damn trade. I got ambition. I can help you.
Another body bag.
Feel alive, Vic? Huh?
Vic. His name's
Feel
Vic.
heartbeat.
Okay.
What was that?
He's digging holes and filling them
Taking
with
souls.
Yep.
Digging holes, taking souls.
Well, and I don't know, maybe you folks in the comments can help us out, but is there a Vic character in the DC comics? Because obviously I got to believe this young man's going to become somebody.
Seems
in
like
Penguin's
seems like a
world.
main guy in this.
Right,
He's
a Vic.
Penguin keeps leaning on him a little bit.
So is a Vic from one of the Arkham
This city
games.
is meant to be
Not for
yours,
sure.
sweetheart. What are you gonna do to get it?
Oh,
Right there.
Now, who is that? Anyone?
Can we even see?
I wonder if that was one of the women from the
one of the
news
women?
clippings.
Yeah, maybe. Oh,
Oh.
nice pause game, Dave. Look at his mouth.
Trust me. It's just the beginning.
That shot right there.
I was waiting for the Batmobile to come in the back of the window.
You sons of bitches! Hey, I'm looking
man.
forward to this. Colin crushed it in the film.
course.
I can
Yeah.
only imagine he's going to crush it here.
He's a
Cast
treasure.
and crew look like they're going to dominate this series, so I'm looking forward to what Matt Reeves has got going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt Reeves and kind of started it with the Batman with Big Rob, and that they had to do a different turn to differentiate themselves for the casual fan of the world of all things that is comic book movies and TV shows, right? Because there's no way you're going to confuse this with, say, some of the Disney Plus shows that are Marvel, right? They're totally different, and I think that that's the direction that Matt Reeves wanted to go for, to really have his product stand alone on its own 2 feet. And I think this one's going to crush. I don't know how many episodes it is, but zero worries that this is going to be anything other than outstanding, and just looking forward to see how all the little characters tie in and who they come to be, because the world building you could always do is so much fun.
Yeah, this is always like Reeves. I think he drew more inspiration from more of the like graphic novels from DC, so to speak, so that way he could have a grittier look at it. Because I mean, Tim Burton's was a little gritty for the time, but then they got a little more campy with Batman and Robin and stuff, where they went. Seemed like too bright of colors and stuff and everything, but then the Dark Knight came back, and that did great. 8 episodes is what Diamond Dave has found out. Dynamite work, Dave. Dynamite. So yeah, so like with his drawn inspiration from it, so it's nice that you get this story of Penguin, who I don't really know too much of his backstory, so that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Just
of
the
this.
Batman Returns.
Well, so Danny DeVito did a great job. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think we're gonna watch Colin Farrell eat freaking raw fish though, or anything in this one, and drive around in a giant rubber ducky. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see that, but I'm definitely looking forward. Or even penguins with rockets on them.
Yes.
I think to tell this story right, it has to be darker, though. I mean, when you're talking about look, I was as skeptical as anybody when Robert Pattinson was announced as Batman, and Mason Quinn twisted our arm to watch the movie The Rover, and in one single movie I became a Robert Pattinson fan and kind of shifted gears as far as the expectations that I had for the film. But we're not going to get into that. But I think when you look at the story of Batman, look, he's somebody who has a very troubled past. He's got a lot of his own demons. He's working with a city that's got a ton of problems, and there's a lot of violence and drugs and everything. And when you try to make it too campy, it doesn't tell the real story. And Answer used the term gritty, and I think that's what this story needs to be. And I think they're doing a great job by telling it. And Mason Quinn's distinction between the way that this is, looking like it's going to be versus a lot of the other stuff, most notably Marvel and the Disney shows. I mean, this is dark. It's it's really dark. We see a lot of violence, and we see a lot of very dark images. gunfire, stabbings. But again, in a underground world of drugs and violence and mafia and stuff like this is the stuff that happens. So I think this is really going to resonate with fans. And for them to be able to pull an 8-episode spin-off series of a very successful movie, I think was a big task. And if you're going to get anybody to do it, Colin Farrell. I'm most curious, and I suppose there's probably interviews already out there about how they picked Colin Farrell for this character, and having maybe an image in mind. Look, we know what the Penguin is supposed to look like-ish, of course, with Batman Returns. It was they went super comic-y, but this is what he's supposed to look like. So, you expected maybe a James Gandolfini.
I'd say that's who he looks like.
Actor,
Maybe
that's who inspired
with a little
it,
bit of makeup, right? Like that's what we think they're going to go for. Somebody like Gandolfini, and they go a completely different direction. Say we're going to pick this guy. Obviously add a weight suit. We're going to add a ton of prosthetics. The hair, the whole 9 yards. I'm curious as to how Colin was picked. Obviously, it was the right choice when you see the Batman, but it's very intriguing to me how, with this particular character in mind, how Colin Farrell came to be the actor. So I'm excited, though. I mean, this looks like a really solid follow-up, and I think it'll build a lot of anticipation for the next Batman movie, which, if I'm not mistaken, is coming in 2026. Is that correct?
Something like
Something.
that. I think.
Yeah, I see conflicting stuff all the time, especially with James Gunn taking over.
Especially with the Joker Part 2 coming out now, too.
Yeah,
so
that trailer, too.
All that stuff.
I know it's saying that, the Penguin's rise in Gotham is basically what this story is about. So, man, it's going to be interesting to see. Love the take on it. Can't wait.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as we hopefully do too.
Sense of realism.
So for Diamond Dave, Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm, of course, the answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals.
Daryl, Dixon, I heard you were dead.
Not yet.
Ooh, there's water there now.
I don't know if this is the place I'm supposed to be.
Tide's coming in.
There's a word in French. Dépaysant. Like a nice change of scenery. Makes you look at things a different way.
Dépaysant.
I'm looking for a friend of mine.
Carol!
Is that guy still in the trunk?
We're talking about flying a plane across the ocean.
Oh, boy.
No idea what's waiting on the other side.
Isabel and I were talking about the three of us going back to America.
We'll do everything we can with caution.
Oh.
I wouldn't worry so much about the future. You don't have one.
Oh, she's back.
We have work to do.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa!
Whoa! What was that?
Oh, they probably got the injections in normal people, and that's what happened. Yeah, that's totally what it is.
Oh, the mace.
Jeez.
Actually, Oak, it's a Morning Star.
Morning Star, excuse me, the mace is sorry.
We'll keep going. That's what we do.
Oh,
what the?
I should have known.
Oh, she's dead.
I keep thinking about all the people I left behind.
Oh, whoa, full send.
And if they're still thinking about me.
Oh, the guy in a quad there. Oh, there's the hook.
There's the
You
shot.
all know we are running this back.
Daryl, Dixon, I heard you were dead.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, so now we have water. If I remember correctly, he was walking to that with no water.
Yeah, and in the end, he was walking out. It was just the sands.
And folks were kind enough to tell us, like, yeah, water does get there, because we asked, like, hey,
is this place
water?
even real? We didn't know. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the
Potter
place
alumni.
I'm supposed to be.
There's a word in French. Dépaysant. Like a nice change of scenery. Makes you look at things a different way.
Dépaysant.
I'm looking for a
Now, how great is it to have Carol back in something?
Absolutely.
Really, really looking forward to seeing her in
it's,
this one.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
Since the last episode of the first season when she had that guy locked in the trunk.
True.
If you're telling the truth, I'll come back.
True.
But I mean,
sorry, go.
I mean, as far as the rest of the spin-offs, Fear.
Yeah, she's never. Thank God she's never been in that.
Telltales, World Beyond. I mean, nothing.
Yeah, so it's good to see that this is, well, it's literally called the Book of Carol, right? So, of course, now the trailer did go heavy on Daryl here, though. So, if this is really the Book of Carol, I'm hoping there's a good 50-50 mix, or maybe even 60-40 in favor of Carol.
Well, they gave us a pretty decent handful on, the Carol making the journey across the sea.
Kind of curious about that plane able to fly all the way across the Atlantic, but I can let it go. It's a world of zombies.
Right. All right, so there's.
Please help me.
Yeah, so she's looking at France.
Yep. So.
Although her thumb and her fingers on just over by Italy there.
I think she's just holding the map down.
We're talking about flying a plane.
That's a
across the
unique.
ocean. No idea what's waiting on the other side.
That's a pristine.
Does a little plane like that have the distance to go across the ocean?
That's what I'm wondering because, I mean, it didn't look like a traditional plane. You would think we would know being this close to EAA, but I'm just wondering if that's some type of custom-made long-range because does use props. You remember that Tom Cruise movie, American Made? They had the propeller planes that could outlast the jets. So they didn't have to fly faster. They just had to fly longer.
Further, right.
So maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, folks. Anybody with knowledge on these types of planes, let us know.
The other side.
Isabel and I were talking about the three of us going back to America.
We'll
Little
do
levity.
everything we can with caution.
Oh.
Whoa.
Now, who are they pitching over the edge there?
I don't know. Let's see if we can see.
Somebody not too lucky.
Yeah. So I doubt that those shots are together where Daryl is shooting at this person. I'm sure that's
You know what I love? I love all when people go over the edge, it's always there's a crash pad down there, and so they always do it's never just flat down on their head. They always do, if you go frame by frame,
head over feet.
It's always the perfect Hollywood, and they're gonna land on the crash pad.
Take your bump, kid.
Nobody ever just does a face dive.
So he's
back.
Well,
because they
didn't remember he wasn't taken out.
No, she just had her cronies beat him up real bad.
So he must be on a redemption arc, which is nice to kind of nice to see here in season 2 here.
He's got the governor eye going, arm in a sling. He's pretty beat up.
There's
the plane.
Background. Doesn't look like it's been retrofitted, but who knows?
Look at that building that they're at. Is this supposed to be a stadium of sorts when they got there? Because that looks like.
Yeah, it almost looks like it absolutely looks like a stadium, like bleachers. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry so much about the
Gets
future.
captured.
You don't have one.
I just love with a
We
smoke.
got her back. Got the smoking gloves on and everything. The jacket with the belt, perfectly primmed up.
So this is I'm interested in everyone's thoughts because we saw what we saw with Rick and Michonne, right? Rick basically took out the CRM in 2 minutes with Michonne, and then we still have all this cross seas with the CRM. So I know that was just one portion of the CRM when I'm saying this. It wasn't the entire army of CRM, but I mean, General Beale was a pretty big, they made it out to be a big character. I'm wondering, will we see any information getting relayed back, or it's just, hey, no information's relayed back. This is still kind of going on when Rick and Michonne's timeline is going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's always tricky with the timelines.
All right, so there's the plane.
Yeah, but that's interesting because the plane landed there, but then in that other shot, it's at the stadium.
Well, it is kind of smoky, right? So I wonder if it was just, hey, we got to land.
Landed there, and then maybe they flew again.
Maybe gas it up a little bit, and then take off and go to that stadium. That's kind of where my head's at. Could be wrong.
So it looks like the tail section was messed up.
Oh, our ninja walkers are back, folks. Oh, there we go. There's the eyes.
What are we looking at here?
So that's the stuff that they were injecting the walkers with. That remember, Daryl had to fight. The guys would get all juiced up, and the veins would start popping out of their faces and everything. And I think they
go frame by frame
experimented
through this one
to see what would happen if they gave it to people.
That's an even better shot of those eyes. Wow.
Jesus.
Look at that.
Black demon eyes or something going on.
And folks, 28 days and 28 weeks isn't on the docket.
Oh.
I don't want to.
There's rumors of 28 years later.
It's in production, I think. Yeah, I think it's in production.
Sidetrack.
Look at all this.
So
are we getting a flashback?
That's what I'm wondering.
Dude, are we getting a flashback of her?
Oh yeah, that looks like our
yeah,
main...
because where did she say she worked at before? She was a librarian, right? Before? I think that's what she was. She was a librarian.
Oh, the Louvre. Wow. People taking the Mona Lisa?
Stealing paintings.
Look at this now. It's roaming everywhere. So the variants now are going to be interesting because we have variants and then the injections.
Yep.
So I know some folks, and I do believe we were kind of saying too, like, give us a little bit more variant.
Right.
But I wonder how they're going to do that in Book of Carol here. Uh-oh.
So there's our guy. He looks like he's on one of the Hannibal Lecter cards or something.
Does not look good for him. Oh, they're
Those
running.
Things were running.
Look at that.
It's been a long time since we've had walkers that can run.
Are those all walkers?
Yeah, that's a dead sprint, dude.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
A dead sprint.
I wasn't even thinking.
Well
Good
played,
catch, Oak.
Diamond Dave.
And there's one right there.
Another one.
Ugh.
Oh, wow.
That's the whole reason I never watched World War Z. I saw one clip of the zombies running, and I said, I'm out.
You're like,
that's it. Too much anxiety. I can't have them running. Can't have them running.
It's a damn good film, Dave.
Yeah,
it's on the docket for you to watch. And the answer. Oh, okay, right there. That was... Oh, gosh. This is going to be a wild season 2 here.
Yep, so that looks like a walker.
That guy looks like he wants to make his way through the... He looks like he's going to make his way through the gates, Terminator T-1000 style.
Well, do you remember in first season, like, they were just ripping through stuff.
Yeah, trying to
They
get
were
after
using rocks to try to break the window of the jewelry store, if you guys remember.
Break me loose.
Yep.
This is kind of cool.
The Morning Star.
Yep.
Mace is when it's connected to a handle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all one piece.
Yep.
Wouldn't you do whatever it took to find him?
Okay, what was she seeing there?
So something.
So those look like folks right
somebody
there.
Normal.
Yeah, they look like humans right there.
Yeah, they must be going into that building because they got jeeps and stuff around.
Ugh, look at that special effects.
Good job, Greg. That's all practical.
Yeah.
Greg Nicotero does a phenomenal job.
Is that one walker? I wonder if that one on the right is Greg.
It wouldn't surprise me.
He's done it before.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but gosh, I'm kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was him, though.
You keep going. That's what we do.
That's what is this
okay,
now?
look at this.
All the radiation got him going.
Huh.
What am I looking at here?
Radiated walkers.
Glowing walkers, Dave.
Well, so this was a watch factory, and they were making the glow-in-the-dark faces, and then it all went down, and
Good point.
the result.
Or nuclear waste facility.
All right.
So she looks like she took a hit in the shoulder.
Not an oblique, but a shoulder. So that's the second favorite right there for survival most of the time.
And that looks like a shotgun blast hit whatever she's by there, which would make sense because that's what Daryl had was a shotgun and all the little pellets there on that
door.
I keep thinking about all the people I left behind.
Oh, somebody's ripping.
Still thinking about.
Oh, let's go back to that freeze frame shot. Okay, so this is back at Daryl's camp.
Yep, with everybody.
Yep. So he made his way back.
You're still thinking about me.
To go back 1 second, go back. Yeah. That reminded me.
Right here?
Back this of walking out of those doors. Reminded me of Sophie.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's Carol. You're right.
That is. That's Carol having a
flashback.
Okay, that's what
exactly
I thought
like
the first time we saw that. I'm like, is that from season 2? Is that Sophie walking out?
Oh my God, good catch.
It happened so fast.
Yeah.
That is 100% almost identical. So she's definitely having some flashbacks.
Yeah.
Either it's a flashback or she just happens to be at a barn where the same thing is happening.
Yeah, because if you see the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Remember Shane and crew.
Okay, so what is she wearing? She's wearing black with a red coat in this shot right here.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's the same in the next.
Yeah, it's the same in the next. It's her, but given like that
perspective.
Oh, that's awesome. Good job.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, man, that's the first run through. I'm like, was that supposed to be the same shot or what?
Wow. Hook, line, and sinker. This is what we're here for.
Absolutely.
For them to be reunited.
Yep. I mean, this just the whole Daryl Dixon, the first season, it just seemed like such a higher level quality of show than what we were used to with the regular Walking Dead. And that goes down to the camera work, the sets, everything. It just felt like it was up a level or two from the other one. So I'm just expecting more of the same out of this season. What an awesome trailer. They gave us just enough to keep us interested, but didn't really give too much away. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I feel like, and look, the main series, obviously we had major characters: Rick, Shane, Negan, Carol, Daryl, Maggie, Glenn. But it feels like, look, the fun thing, if you all remember when the original was out, they had shirts and everything that says, "If Daryl dies, we riot," And it almost feels like they're taking extra special care of the Daryl Dixon character. And of course, I thought Dead City with Negan and Maggie was okay for a spinoff. Some of the other ones I'd rather not talk about. But it feels like, okay, Daryl, we have to, and you wish they would do that with everything, but that's kind of the vibe I get from this, is they're going to take extra special care of the Daryl Dixon character, and of course Carol and him. I mean, just this close for so much of the first, I should say the original Walking Dead. So this, I agree with you 1,000%. This just feels like it's on a whole different level than the rest of the spinoffs that we've had.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Carol back. She's been greatly missed. I mean, ever since basically the big turnaround was the shades of her turnaround were basically starting in season 3, really executed in season 4, and then season 5 we got Terminator, Carol, and then from there on,
Save the day.
Just been phenomenal. I mean, everyone remembers Look at the Flowers. I mean, the decisions she's had to make since day one of the series, right? So seeing Carol back, and let's not forget with the radio communication how they conveniently is back. So I'm hoping we get that answer, which maybe we'll get here. I'm still holding on to the theory that Carol is here to tell Daryl Rick's back. That's my theory. I'm still running with it until proven wrong here. But having Carol and Daryl back together is just like a puzzle piece that needs to be locked in. I'm not always a fan of them. We have to break them up and then bring them back together, break them up, back together, break up, back together. But in this case, because we're getting more content, and I know there's some folks out there, isn't this universe dead yet? Nope, it is not. Still going. Glad it's still going. With Carol and Daryl now, I hope, not that I want Daryl's seasons to end. I'm hoping, though, we get the button now, or the final, button on there of, all right, we're together. We are going back, and either we're bringing these folks with us or it's just us going back. So I hope it isn't another detour, so to speak. If they want to continue on with seasons, I hope it's back by the group.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting because what's left at home really to do is kind of curious. And at the end of the first season, you know, Carol was just out looking for Daryl. We didn't know why. We didn't know what purpose was. She found the guy with his bike. She eventually got the story of what everything was. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what news she has for Daryl, because I'm skeptical if it is Rick's back, because it just seems to me you would have led with that in the radio conversation. So, but that's a whole nother topic for another time.
And
this looks great.
Yep, and folks, stay tuned because right now we're going into Dead City's teaser trailer. Let's go!
Here we go.
All right. Oh, like Atlanta.
The old world
that shot
was rigged, designed to rip us apart.
Yeah.
That was the world of the dead.
Oh, boy, does he look rough.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, the bat.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
Look who's in charge.
Well, remember, that's how they left off.
I know what it means to go back to Manhattan. It's cost me a lot. Almost everything.
Oh!
You wanted
Kim
me
Coates.
dead once. Now you want to save his life.
It's different now.
Oh, that teaser was too short.
That was
that
the
was a
definition of
too
a teaser
way
trailer.
Love this shot because it reminds me of them coming down and 1 by 2
Rick
after
in the
Rick was
tank.
in the tank, them coming down into it.
The old world was
Whoa. It's quite a few people there.
Yeah, she's walking into an audience right there.
was rigged.
Man.
Hey, whoa, guys. You know what that just reminded me of there on the spot? Remember back at the sanctuary, whenever Negan would open the door, there's folks right there. I wonder if they're trying to do like a flip of some sorts, but it's not so drastic of a change.
That could be.
Was rigged.
Herschel.
Designed to rip us apart.
So it looks like they had Negan locked up. I wonder if he said no at first.
Negan!
Negan!
So, not to go back too far, but who was the picture that Herschel was looking at? Was that supposed to be...
we saw her character.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if it was... it kind of looked like... what's her name from Alexandria who went out with a bang? Deanna. It almost looked like Deanna for a minute, but clearly it wasn't.
That was the world of the dead.
The whistle.
Dragging the bat.
Well,
So the bat is back. Wow.
it's not Lucille, but it's
Look at the pants.
2.0?
standing. Yeah.
Those pants, everything.
I know what it means to go back to Manhattan.
Oh, just hold on. What do we got going on?
Yeah, I want to
here?
kind of come back to that now. I was kind of letting that roll quick. So we do remember that he was using
the bodies to
bodies
produce
for
ethanol.
fuel, right?
Yeah, for ethanol.
Yep. They powered everything with it.
So do they
Methanol.
do they strip them of their clothing and then throw them in so that way they're properly?
I mean, I would think you would want
Right?
to. You wouldn't want a bunch of clothing clogging
Yeah,
things
they probably strip their clothes off and then
Yep.
then throw them in
Yeah.
the tanks.
Yep, so they are.
Okay.
Okay, so that's exactly how they're doing it. So, cool. So we're probably going to get, they told us, right? Didn't really show us in season 1. Now we're probably going to see the whole process.
Methane gas, that's what it was. Methane gas, not ethanol. Jesus.
And like an instant almost of something happening. And of course, Maggie's in a situation.
Climbing up a ladder.
It's got a couple of stakes in her
Climbing
backpack.
something because there's one walking. So she must be like on the ladder.
Yeah, it looks like she's climbing across a ladder.
Oh, going across. She's doing a scream.
So yeah,
across
in
the building.
Yeah, the rooftops.
Yeah.
They were always climbing or jumping or doing something in the first one, I believe. Unless I'm just making that up. Whoa.
And a couple of tanks of fuel in there.
Yep. Of course, their mask. Love the helmets.
Yeah, it looks like bicycle tires.
Yep.
made
Bike
into
tires.
helmets.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Ah, unique.
Interesting.
And then
Now,
she's
what is
holding
this,
an
a
organ
brain?
of something.
It looks like a human heart is what I was guessing. Because it's still moving, see?
Oh, yeah.
You can see the valves.
Yeah, and everybody in the back.
Almost everything.
Kim!
What's this guy going to do?
Wow.
I am excited. I remember the announcement of him being there. So I am excited to see what kind of character he's going to play because of Sons of Anarchy. Played such a complex character over there.
Oh.
Looking forward to seeing what he brings to this show here. So I wonder.
He was so incredible in Sons of Anarchy. And Diamond Dave, I guess that's the best kind of word you can use to, describe his character was complex. But man, did he just, as Tig, he just brought so much to the show.
He's done some zombie work before, so
I mean, he's great in
interesting to see how
everything he does,
this.
but man, just an absolute standout in the SOA.
Kim, if by some weird chance you ever see this, looking forward to seeing what you bring. Oh, wow, we're back to this.
Fight Club.
So last season we had an actual UFC ring.
Yep.
Now, this season we just got the cheaply made Wish.
Yeah, the
octagon.
Wish,
the Temu
version. But look at the guys; they're all wearing armor there. Around
Look at the back panel
sides.
there. Like
it's very medieval, royalty setup for their entertainment.
yeah. Oh, that's wild.
You wanted Negan dead. What?
He's back.
Yeah, look who
He's
made
back.
it.
Now he was left in a very interesting
Yeah.
situation with those 10 people that were in that room, basically
Yeah.
pressuring him.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to see what his goal is now that he's with Maggie here.
He dead once.
Oh, the
So
bat.
it's like they're getting those tanks out of the van, and Negan's guarding them.
Yep, good call there. So Negan. Boom!
Taking one for the team.
Mind you, of anyone you know. So is that Herschel running there?
Maggie and Herschel going through a museum.
So this is who he was. This is who,
Yep, that's her.
Herschel was
Yep.
drawing. Man, she was. I tell you what, if you haven't seen, you guys seen Ozark?
I have.
She was
Only the first season.
So incredible in Ozark.
Now you want to save his life.
Oh, who's that in the back? Just more red shirts? Yeah.
Probably.
Look at
That's,
this. Look at
that's,
this
that's
one.
Jay from Jay and Silent Bob there. Second in from the right.
Dude, look at that setup for that helmet there.
Oh, he's got a bike tire mullet helmet.
That's
love
awesome.
Save his life.
Okay, so this was the girl that Negan was protecting.
Yep.
Oh, she caught up to him. Okay.
She got
that'll be
knife
interesting.
buried up deep in there.
Yeah, and he's looks like tied to a table. We got flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers.
And that doesn't look like anybody we know. Just going off
Nope.
the eyes there.
He's throwing it all. Look
Oh,
at
it's
that.
like
look at
a
this.
little Dawn of the Dead reference there with that rig.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The old plow on the front, graded up windshield and radiator.
And I've got the tanks on top.
And now Negan throwing the bat.
Throwing the bat. That's interesting.
I wonder, because remember, he said he was
done
with this Negan, but he did slightly embrace it in Dead City 1.
You guys got your umbrellas?
Knock, knock. Who's there? So I wonder if he's cracking right here. I just don't want to be here, but he's forced to. And we still need answers of his wife and kid.
Right.
So hopefully we'll get that. Well, not this season, but in the next season. Ooh, the standoff.
It's different now.
By the way, that line makes. Well, we're at the end here, but that line. Oh, and they're back at the octagon.
Yeah, back at the royal court.
That line means a lot, which I'm sure is purposeful to. It meant quite a bit to be in this trailer because now she's coming back for Negan to save him. I don't know how he needs saving, but
interesting. The top edge of that
Yeah, I kind of see you can't grab it and pull your way out, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see what's kind of our team's goal here now. You know, with Negan being where's he at? Is he trying to get away from the life he used to have, and is Maggie trying to help? Or we shall see.
Well, like we were saying, though, at the end of season 1, he politely declined, but they're like, nah.
That's what I'm saying.
Not happening
for us, brother.
Yeah, it doesn't work for us, brother. But part of him, though, was still wanting to be a little bit Negan, but I don't know. I'm real interested to see how this journey is going to go. I'm happy that we're getting old school Negan back. I'm real interested now, after everything that's happened between these two, for this moment, how she's going to react to him being like this, and then is Negan actually going to take her help for whatever she's there to help for?
Right, or does she know that Negan's essentially kind of playing a role and can turn on the character when he has to, like he did in the first season? So yeah, either way, it's gonna be great. Who we kidding?
Yeah, it's interesting to me because there's for as terrible of a human being as Negan was, there was some characteristics about him that we loved as fans, or loved to hate him, however you want to put it, but I think you know what I'm referencing. His quirks, the way he talked, his mannerisms, just everything. And so if you could take those aspects of that Negan character, but kind of put them to work for good, or at least for the benefit of people
good the way we see
the benefit of people we think are good, then you really have something, right? Then it's like, okay, we still get that JDM, we still get the Negan that the parts of him that we love, but kind of working towards maybe a common goal with of course with everybody in this community. So I don't know, it's this was quite the teaser here, and I mean a short teaser, so it didn't give us a whole lot, but enough to remind us that there's some major conflict, face-off between Maggie and Negan. Look, they've had their differences, of course, and it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward together.
Well, in the timelines too, because they're the most advanced timeline that we got going with the TV shows.
So it's what, 16 years?
No,
from the end of the last, from when. Because Herschel should be 16 now, right?
He's not.
15, 16, okay.
He's probably. I just remember this being like a 5 or. Help me out, folks, but I believe it was like a 5 to 7 year time jump from the last episode of season 11.
Yeah, but they're the furthest ahead.
This is the furthest timeline. So it'll be interesting to see when we can get basically the Avengers final. Whenever they decide to close the books on The Walking Dead, I hope we get the whole group being together. I know, Andy Lincoln and them were kind of, it almost felt like it was a goodbye, but I'm pretty sure there's also that opportunity for one more go around too, because I've been seeing things circulate around that there's potential for a season 2 of The Ones Who Live.
Yeah, that felt like that. I tell you what, the end of that one felt like a send off. I mean, it really did. But I mean, look, there's lots of misdirection, lots of ways to throw off fans, and look, at the end of the day, it was left open enough to where it wouldn't be ridiculous if you wrote another season. And I think that's the interesting thing is look, we've had a lot of years of The Walking Dead. I think these actors have really, dug in their heels with these characters. A lot of the actors that we love, we haven't seen them in a lot of other projects. I mean, what have we seen Norman Reedus in since Walking Dead started?
He's still doing all his
show,
stuff.
The Bike Riders.
Right, the Bike Riders and stuff, but that's more like a reality.
But he was casted in something.
No, he was in the movie, The Bike Riders.
The Bike Riders. But he also did
his own show.
He also did his ride with Norman Reedus. Yeah. But it's interesting because the fandom for this, this whole universe is so passionate about it that I think even if you felt like something was supposed to end, look, if you could just, we appreciated the spinoffs for, better, worse, anything in between, but if we could just have one, and then be done with it, not another spinoff of the coming together of the spinoffs, just give us one final season, or, as it's been discussed for a handful of different, pop culture, phenomenons. Give us a movie.
Yeah.
Give us a 2.5-hour movie to wrap it all up and ride off into the sunset.
For me, I say never end it. Just keep it going. Different characters, bring in different people, different stories. Hey, look, all of you thought Wolverine was done for, didn't you? You all thought he was done. And then what did they do? They brought him back. Walking Dead doesn't have to be any different. It can keep coming back.
Let's
doing
not
different
Telltale.
stories.
That's what I was just going to say.
I was just going to say the same thing.
We could, say have a moment of like, hey, 20 years in advance, this is where we are with this group. Now we're circling back to day one with the Telltale group. God, it's such a tongue twister for me. And then just kind of start getting to them. And
we've already got a story.
It's going to open with John David Washington in the back of the squad car. That's how it's going to go.
We've got stories.
And we don't have to have them go.
We've got characters.
Keep them alive.
Yeah,
wait a minute. You're going to go off the script? You're going to keep Lee alive?
Yeah, we got to keep Lee alive.
We're changing the script already. But we love Lee. So.
Well, folks, let us know what you think about these two trailers here. What are you excited for? Let us know regardless. We're looking forward to it.
All right, folks. So for Diamond Dave Damone, that's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. This has been some great Walking Dead trailers, and we'll see you on the next one.
Sauron sees himself as master of all Middle-earth. He seeks to rule it.
Oh, there's the crown. Oh.
But by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that, he needs not armies.
No!
But rings.
In choosing to wear those rings, you have all become his collaborators.
Okay, so there's the story there.
Deceiving me.
Interesting. Those rings.
But I believe it is guiding me.
All this may be by his design. These rings may be how he attains power. They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. Who is this man?
He is no man.
Well. Oh, nice. Got a little throwdown here.
Oh, what?
He is Sauron.
Look at that, walking through the flames.
A sharer of gifts. Our work begins now.
Making the rings.
I have walked across mountains and deserts to help my friend find his destiny.
There she is. There's our guy.
It may depend on.
Is it my task to stop the fire? Is it my task to face Sauron?
Oh.
To try and cheat death?
It is.
Might lead to an even greater catastrophe.
Oh, we got a Balrog.
Father, take off the ring.
Whoa. Doesn't want to.
I'm afraid, do it.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril. Will you abandon them to their doom?
Look at that.
Leave Sauron to me.
Oh!
Promise me, Elrond. He will not stop until he is destroyed.
This battle we got going on.
Takes an age.
Oh, the Ents?
The Ents.
Your axe, old friend.
Fight with me.
Oh, spiders.
Fight with our friends.
Oh. Oh.
Falls. There are always some who rise forth.
That's
shine.
Ah, the Eagles!
The Eagles!
You will give me the 9.
The 9 rings. Whoa, whoa. Oh, they're just gonna break on him. All right, now I know that the first season of Rings of Power, Oak and I did not especially love it. Neither one of us was, really all about it. And it was very controversial, the way they pulled stories and how they did it. But folks, I genuinely think that this trailer was better than the entire season 1 of Rings of Power.
Why don't we run it
So let's run this
here.
back.
Let's run this back here.
That's just my initial first
Let me know
thoughts.
if there's any spots you want me to stop in.
Sees himself as master of all Middle Earth.
No, I will say that our good friend Ryan over at Screen Rant, of course, doing the pitch meetings, talking about, so wait a minute, so she happened to dive off a boat and was in the middle of the water nowhere, and the guy she happened upon the wreckage, that was the guy. So
fate's not left to anything.
That's a good point. So that was one of the highlights of that particular breakdown. But our guy Sauron obviously back, and they start off this trailer with him, which obviously speaks to its importance here in the whole story.
and you can go ahead and play it, and I'll just kind of speak to it, but we know how much money they threw at this series, and it certainly comes through in the set design. I know you and I had a lot of issues with some of the CGI they did in the first season. We're like, really? You guys threw like $1 billion at this thing, and that's the best the CGI could get? It looks imminently better this season.
How about this crown?
Yeah, that's his crown.
I mean, that's pretty bad. I look at it in the way they have it glowing and stuff.
Conquest. But by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies.
No. Seeing they gave everybody the rings. Obviously, if you folks are fans, you remember the stories of who all got rings and who, how that kind of played out.
No, I will say that I don't know any of the back lore or the source material. Of course, we watched all the movies here for the channel, including all the Lord of the Rings movies, followed up by all the Hobbit movies, but I am not familiar with the source material. I'm like the black sheep of my family, not knowing. Get my brother Will here on the channel. He'll sit here and rap with Mason Quinn. So as far as the backstory on learning who's all getting rings and their
because they did explain it in the movies. They said, how many the elves got, how many the dwarves got, how many the men got.
But as far as some of the details that it looks like we're going to get in this particular second season. Now this shot, the way they stylized this, this one jumped out to me as being particularly CGI-y. But I mean, the way sometimes the way they want to stylize shots, of course, there's something, obviously very dramatic happening here. So for me, it was like, okay, it jumped out as being pretty strong on the CGI. But, the next shot we get where they're showing all the rings, again, very stylized. So part of me is like, okay, don't be too critical of that.
They definitely played a lot with colors and imagery just in this trailer.
To wear those rings. You have all become his collaborators.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving me, but I believe it is guiding me.
There's our guys.
I had to stop there. Look at our orcs.
Are they going to be asking for some tasty meats? That's what we want to hear, right?
I mean, we knew they were going to be here.
All this may be by his design.
These rings may be how he attains power.
They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question.
The one ring to rule them all.
Who is this man?
He is no man.
Oh, she's a little teared up in that shot, too. Now go back there once, Oak. I want to see our whole crew here that's kind of in the woods, because it looks like we had some folks from season 1, as well as some new people here. So
just gonna back it up
here. Yeah, just kind of jump it there.
This battle scene here.
Yeah, where they kind of do the Michael Bay spin around shot here. Okay, so we're finally. Boy, I only recognize him really. Everybody else looks pretty new, or we're not seeing their faces. Okay. Anyhow, I thought maybe we'd see.
Yeah.
But they're definitely in a tight spot here. He's going to get ready to throw down.
What is it that this next scene pretty crazy with the glowing eyes?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I'm not familiar with any of the source material beyond the Lord of the Rings, the original 3, and then the Hobbit books. So I know the Sumerian, I think is how you say it. Again, apologies, folks. I haven't read it. I can picture it in my head, but pronunciation escapes me. And I know that they're drawing from all of Tolkien's works. So be interesting to see if these. The only thing I can reference is that these look like the ring wraiths from the first Lord of the Rings movie, but I don't think that that's the case because given who they are, just perhaps some other monsters.
Yeah, that was one thing that I had learned from my brother when he was going through some of his, we'll just call it concerns for the film, is that they were pulling from all of Tolkien's works.
Right.
And at the timeline, I think one of his biggest gripes was the timeline. They were pulling from very old source material and mixing it with later source material. Sometimes, mixing, storylines and characters that were, thousands of years apart, hundreds or thousands of years apart in the storyline, which, you hardcore old school, I shouldn't say old school, but hardcore fans who are very well educated on the source material have to help us out with that one.
He deceived me. He's Sauron.
Oh, I mean, right there. I mean, that's pretty much the way we've seen Sauron.
Right
and,
there. There it is.
I mean,
that's pretty badass right there.
What am I to call you?
A sharer of gifts. Our work begins now.
And now we're getting all the different settings here, I think, in these next
walked
upcoming
across
shots.
mountains and deserts to help my
Starman himself.
Starman is back.
All the speculation that's out there, folks. Let it rip in the comments who you think it is. I think we all speculate, and it's like it. They're kind of leaning, I think, towards Gandalf, but then it maybe wouldn't follow the source material. So you folks have to let
a lot of people
know.
felt like it was Gandalf, but we shall see.
My friend find his destiny. One the fate of the world may depend on.
Is it my task to stop the fire?
And how about the
staff into the ground?
I mean, the staff into the ground. That felt a little like
Ian.
Like maybe they were setting up Gandalf here. Sorry, I've tried to go back frame for frame on that, but
To help my friend find his destiny. One the fate of the world may depend on.
Totally different setting than what we've ever seen. And there it is, yeah. And again, being in the desert here, a place that we really haven't seen in Middle Earth, at least on film for those of us who've watched the movies.
Yeah, I'm curious as to whether the speculation is that's going to be like, hey, the slamming of the staff, Gandalf, but
It's such an iconic thing.
Hard
I
to
think that's
say.
what so many of us think of.
Is it my task to stop the fire? Is it my task to face Sauron?
Now, I don't know who this particular guy is. Are you familiar with who this is?
All I can think of is that, well, it'd be, and again, it's so tricky with the timeline. The only guy I can think of is Saruman, the white wizard from the movies played by Christopher Lee. But I don't, honestly, I don't know. I'd just be guessing because he has that same, the orb, the seeing stone. I think that's maybe what that's supposed to be. But who knows? You know, kind of looks like the same setup he had in his tower.
Yeah.
But I'd just be guessing.
To try and cheat death.
There we saw that guy in the first Lord of the Rings movie, I think, a Balrog.
That is pretty nasty right there. Where's he got a flaming spear
almost? And again, can we just talk about the CGI? How much better it is just in this trailer. Again, I think this trailer's better than the whole first season of Rings of Power. Folks, you let me know if I'm alone on that. I don't think I am.
Mason Quinn didn't think too highly of the first season. You know, and the one thing that I will say about this season is it feels like, look, the first season they took a lot of time to lay groundwork and backstory. Yeah. And so I felt like the first 2 episodes I was pretty I guess you could say lenient as far as okay, yup, They got to develop some backstory, some world building, stuff like that. But it felt like they really drug it out, like a few episodes too many. And I'm really hoping for this season, it's just like, okay, here we are, action. You know, but we'll see.
Father, take off the ring.
Did not want to take it off.
I'm afraid, Daryl.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril.
Did she look like she, the eyes? Yeah, and look, obviously we're very well aware that that somebody can have normal-looking eyes and still be blind. But I'm wondering if
I wonder if she got her vision back.
If she got her vision back, or sometimes like the gaze, the fact that they're showing, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to, it's so hard to tell. But her eyes, you know, from visually, they look okay. But sometimes if they're looking off and don't have a some sort of, you know, focal point per se, you wonder if that's representative of her not being able to see. But we'll be curious to find more out about that as well.
Will you abandon them to their doom?
See, we got the. I wonder if that was in the mine that they had all those mirrors going.
To me.
Ooh, right in the back.
Promise me, Elrond. You will not stop until he's.
I mean, look at this. Look at this battle we've got going on, and again, the very.
Look at this.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything we were used to expecting from these movies, and now this series with, you know, the catapults, the large land armies essentially, and then I believe the Ents are making their way in here pretty soon.
Will not stop until he is destroyed.
Forgiveness.
Now, who's this?
This must be one of the. Well, you know, there was a number of wizards, and I remember reading a lot of comments that you folks had in our Rings of Power comments about there being a number of different wizards. Of course, we saw that in the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies, of course, with the different wizards. And, you know, so maybe this is another one before the time that we know about.
We'll see.
There's our guy with the perfect haircut through the whole series. The actor did a fantastic job, by the way. He was great.
I thought this guy was a very welcomed addition to this entire world. Of course, I shouldn't say welcomed addition because everybody was, you know, essentially a new cast of characters. But I really liked his performances. I liked his intensity. I love the character. The only thing that I didn't love was that he had a perfect, very barber-esque haircut that I feel like would have been difficult without a clippers. Somebody who was high and tight my whole life before I shaved my head. Like Mason Quinn still has it.
This has been like 3 days and it's already all shot to hell. What am I going to do?
Do you think your hairstylist could do it without a clippers?
No way.
No.
It wouldn't look that good.
Either way.
Either way, it'd be a lot of fun, and it's cool seeing. I want to see how this character, how they kind of progress with it, because I felt that they was very conflicted in the first season.
How about the Ents?
Oh, I just hope they make decisions a little bit quicker than they did in the movies.
That brought up some tension though. Like, come on, let's go. We don't have time for this.
But if you remember in the movies, the Ents kind of talked about how they got involved before, I think. So I'm wondering if this is going to be some of that. Again, it's so tough with the timelines, and because they're grabbing from all of Tolkien's works, it's going to be difficult for us to speculate.
I need your axe, old friend.
Fight with me.
Oh, the spiders. Now, was that in that scene in the cave, was that, oh gosh, and it's been a minute since we've seen Rings of Power, but was that the son who went away on the boats against his father's wishes?
I just don't make sense, because I think this is the father, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the father.
And again, apologies, folks. It has been
the father,
a while, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, here's the father.
Fight with me.
And then we see.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, they was wearing the same armor.
Yeah,
That's got to be.
Yep, that is him. Yep, good call. Yeah, that's 99.99% sure that's him.
And again, we're gonna get to see maybe Shelob's. See how that all came to be, maybe.
When the darkness falls, there are always some.
Oh, that arrow right to the neck.
And shine.
And of course, everybody's favorite, the Eagles. A sign of much controversy for the casual fans who, of course, asked the question that so many hardcore fans, and of course Tolkien himself has answered of, why couldn't the Eagles take them to Mount Doom? Yada, yada. You guys know the answer.
What's the answer? Just remind us.
They never would have made it.
They wouldn't have made it.
Or I could take the Tolkien approach and have some curses, but anyway.
I want to go back to that.
Yeah, so now we got the major battle that did they tease this in the
Look at
first
that.
season?
That does not look good.
No.
Not look good at all right there.
You will give me the nine.
Got some big old trolls. Oh, I mean, just those horses just charging for the orcs. It's going to be interesting. Oh, I mean, and again, look, the series was always going to be controversial because of the way they were pulling the source material. I think that if they do it right and they tell a good story, I think as a TV show, I think you can maybe look past some of that stuff if it's an enjoyable story. That was the issue with the first season. It just wasn't that good. And it kind of universally agreed upon that it wasn't that good. Maybe some potential was there. But I'm looking forward to the second season. The trailer has me intrigued. I think they've corrected a lot of the errors from the first season. So, hey, I'm going to go in with an open mind and let's just see what comes of this.
I am, for the most part, a very optimistic person. You know, I get it from my dad. You know, just kind of easing through life. You just hoping for the best, and just thinking that the flip side of it is not a good way to live. And I carry that forward. Obviously, watching TV shows is kind of trivial compared to everything else. But that sort of attitude I try to bring to this. Look, I didn't love the first season, but I'm not like, I don't feel labored going into the second season at all. I'm coming into it with optimism. I'm coming into it with hope. I mean, look, there's so much of what Amazon does, and look, I get when you say Amazon, that's a giant umbrella, different directors, different producers, different casts, different everything, different writers. So it's not just like this Amazon project is good, so every Amazon project is going to be good. But I would say the majority of what we see from Amazon is pretty awesome, and I would like to think that that they sat down and took a long look at everything that happened after the first season, as far as fan reactions and critics and the purists and the casual fans, and tried to listen to everybody. And that moving forward into this second season, they're going to try to address some of those issues. Now, again, they've already set themselves up, as far as I know, for controversy with the mixing of the timelines. And you can't really necessarily back out of those timelines per se moving into a second season, because you want a continuation of the story that you already started telling. But one of the kind of the counter arguments to that, that I remember asking, my brother, I'm like, well, if there's a few thousand years of Tolkien, timeline, how many seasons would you have to have?
Oh,
or how many different,
never ending.
How many different stories would you have to have? Right. I mean, I don't recall what, how many seasons they had planned of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's an interesting challenge put out in front of you. Because it's like, okay, let's say there's a few thousand years and all these characters. Can we take this story and put it on screen and have it be captivating over and over and over and over again, and have it develop across all those timelines? So I'm not necessarily blaming the mixing of the timelines on the writers from Amazon, but I am trying to be sympathetic to the hardcore fans that are like, that person lived 3,000 years before that person, and you're mixing timelines. One of the arguments that people made was like, well, imagine trying to do that today and like mixing, King Arthur with like General Patton,
James Bond
or
or
James Bond or something like that. Like that's essentially what you're doing is you're mixing timelines that are that far apart, and so I get it, but that's a little bit beyond what I'll dig into the story, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term. And again, I'm just going in with optimism. Visually, it was, for the most part, I thought it was pretty incredible. We did have a few nitpicks here on the CGI. Yeah. I just want, my biggest thing is I just want the story to pick up and be a little bit more engaging, a little bit earlier. And maybe some of the unknowns have it laid out a little bit for us. Because I think that was another one of the challenges that they really faced here is, what do you do when you have, like, look, Marvel in the superhero movies, I think they can take a lot of their stories, and even if you don't have the hardcore comic fans, you can just tell it to the casual fans, and it's going to be fun. Look, well, the Boys was based off a comic book. The Walking Dead was based off a comic. There's, The Last of Us off a video game.
Yep.
So there's a lot of adapted for TV or movie type projects that we've seen that have done a very good job as far as entertaining casual fans without them needing to know the source material. But the source material for this is a little bit more revered, I think.
Well, and the fact that it's so vast, I mean, I think if you could take anything away from it, whether you are not a fan of Rings of Power and you're a Tolkien purist and you want the stories told as they should be, I don't know what kind of permissions Amazon got from the Tolkien family as far as what they were allowed to do. But let's just look at it this way. If they do a good job of this series and it's good and it's entertaining and people like it, that will at least generate more enthusiasm for Tolkien's works, and maybe you turn some casual fans into hardcore fans and they go back and they read some of the other books that maybe aren't as well known as the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, and it's an interesting discussion to have, and without to get too much into Tolkien's past works, again, I'm a casual fan, but there was a lot of talk about, and look, we've seen this in multiple fandoms, talks about Tolkien gatekeeping, at the end of the day, if you're a hardcore old school Tolkien fan, if something like this is bringing new audiences, and like Mason Quinn had said, like getting younger people or new audiences to maybe say, you know what, I like this story as a whole. I understand it's not necessarily, line for line from the source material, and they say, you know what, I'm going to go back and start reading these books. Isn't that a good thing? So I see it from both sides of the story, from the purists and from the people who are saying, let's get more people interested in Tolkien works. So I'm curious what you have to say. But look, like I said, I'm going into this season with optimism.
Yep. Well, there's only one way to find out, and you know that we're going to be there for it. So for the Appleton Oak, I'm Mason Quinn. This has been Bad Medicine. That was Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2, and we will see you when that comes out.